My name's Todd McLeod, and I'm one of the founders at Greater Commons, and I've just been setting up our marketing. And so in this video, I'm going to show you everything I've just learned, because I've just been learning Adwords, analytics, tag manager, conversion tracking. I've just been learning all that myself. And I'm college faculty. I also teach at the university sometimes as adjunct, tenured at the college. And I teach information systems and business. And so I'm also one of the founders of Greater Commons. And I'm a teacher on Greater Commons. And so this video is just to document everything I just figured out about AdWords, conversion tracking, tag manager, and all of that, the data layer. I'm going to show you how to do it. There's a lot of nuances to it, but I'm going to walk you through it just to document it. And then eventually this is all going to become a course, which you could take by coming over to Greater Commons if it's out by the time you watch this video. Come over to Greater Commons and you could take a look at this course and buy the whole thing. I've been working on the outline here. You can see the outline right here. It's 102 pages, 104 pages, right? Where I'm just documenting everything I'm learning about online advertising. So it's going to be an amazing course because I couldn't find anything that taught me from A to Z how to do it. So in this video, we're going to see, here are the courses at Greater Commons right now. In this video, we're going to see how to do AdWords conversion tracking. So the first thing I want to do is inside AdWords, I'm going to go up here to Tools and then go to Conversions. And I'm going to add a conversion, new conversion by clicking this plus sign. And I could do for a website, app, phone call, or import. So I'm going to do it for a website and track sales and other actions. And I'm just going to call this one temp XYZ just to make sure that this is being tracked. We're going to do it for not a sign up, not a lead, not a view of a key page or other, but we're going to do it for a purchase or a sale. We're going to use a different value for each conversion. I'm going to give this a default value of $500. And this is going to allow me to look and see if like something's not running right. I'm just going to see like all my conversions are each for $500. And I'll realize, oh, somehow my data layer or whatever got messed up. So the next thing I want to do is come down here and select how many conversions to count per click or interaction. We'll just choose 1. And then here we have a bunch of other settings. You could read about them by opening them up, learning more. But these settings are basically like, how long, if somebody saw your ad and came to your page, and then 10 days later they come back and buy, do you want to track that as a conversion? So I'm going to click Create and Continue. And then I need to, you've created a conversion action, now set up the tag to add to your website. So I need to install the tag, email the tag, or use Google Tag Manager. So if you go to Google Tag Manager, right, there's this thing that allows you to use all of your tags. This is the preferred solution. It used to be like G-Tag. It used to be like manually dropping stuff in. And now what you want to do is just Tag Manager. So this is like 4 hours of my life just figuring out, well, probably a little bit less, but just figuring out that this is the way you want to do it now is you want to use Tag Manager. This guy right here, I've seen him in a lot of stock photos. It's kind of funny. So I'm just going to go to Tag Manager and I'm going to sign in. And that's Tag Manager, right? And you set up like, I don't know, there's probably a place up here to add another account if I wanted. Count settings, but anyhow, I'm not seeing that. But when you first come here, there's a workspace. You set up a workspace. And so my workspace is set up for Greater Commons. And then in here, you could add tags, you could add triggers, you could add variables. And so we'll come back to this in a second. So I'm going to go to use Google Tag Manager. And it's going to give me some conversion ID and conversion label. Keep track of these. Hold on to these, okay? So, those are going to be for this conversion, it's going to have those. And I'm just going to take a picture of those right here with my screenshot on my Mac. Boom, there's that picture. And now I'm just going to hit next. And you've set up your conversion action. And then there's some things, if you want to read more or learn more, you could go there to do that. So I have my conversion set up. And the next thing I want to do is go over to Tag Manager. And so inside Tag Manager, you could add tags. So I'm going to create my workspace and then I'm going to add some tags. And I could go to my tags here and you can see the tags that I already have added. I've got Universal Analytics, Facebook Pixel. You got to go to Facebook, kind of get that, right? So let's just go new. Let's go new and you're going to add a tag configuration and then triggering. And so here's what the tag is and this is when it's going to trigger. So let's go with tag configuration. Let's say I want to add another AdWords conversion tracking. So I'm going to add conversion tracking. It's asking for an ID and a label. Those are those numbers that I just had in that screenshot I took. So drop those in there. It's asking me for a conversion value and an order ID. Eventually we'll get our variables set up where when we have our variables, we could just say, hey, this is where we're going to add our conversion value, which will be revenue, and then we'll add our order ID right here, which will be receipt ID. And so we have revenue and receipt ID, and currency code, if it's USD, it's USD, right? So that's from that screenshot before where I set up in AdWords, these conversion actions. I get those unique numbers. I come into my tag manager. I create a new tag. This is a AdWords conversion tracking tag, and I drop in. You won't have these yet until we set up these variables, but when they are set up, you drop that in there, and you drop in the conversion ID and label that you got when you created this. That's like first hurdle, right? So you get all that set up, and then you're going to set triggers. So we have a thank you page. I'm not going to show you where it is. Well, you see it. I guess I'm going to block that out because I only want you getting there when you've bought a course, right? But I'm going to create a new trigger here. And with this new trigger configuration, just click that. And it's going to be a page view or window loaded. I'm going to say it's a page view. And that page views, some page views, and greater commons. I'm going to say that the page path, the page URL contains, right? And it's going to contain like, greatercommons.com/success or whatever it is, successful success. Let's call it success. And that's like when you get to that page, so I'll add that in. Oh, I don't need another one. So when you get to that page, right, this is when this is going to fire. And so this trigger will fire when I get to a page URL that contains this. And the reason I didn't include this or not, sometimes it has www, sometimes it doesn't at our website. So I just says, if you contain that, fire this code. And then I have to give it a name, and we'll say successful checkout reached landing page view. Right? So checkout success. Right? So successful checkout, they reach the checkout success page view. So I give that a name, and now that's triggering when this happens, and I've got all that, and it'd have my AdWords stuff in there. I'm not going to save this because I don't need it. But that's what I did right here, AdWords conversion tracking. Now we have to get those variables set up, right? I've also added, by the way, you have to add conversion linker. You got to add this tag in, and that's it, right? But I also recommend universal analytics. So add in universal analytics, conversion linker, and AdWords conversion tracking. Cha-ching. And now I want to go to variables, and before I could add my variables, I have to get my variables. And then you also have to add tag manager to your site. And so to add tag manager to your site, there's certain code you need to have. You go into the admin area, go to admin, and then inside here you want to go to install Google Tag Manager. Just click on that. And then you want to take this code. Again, I'm blocking this out. But you want to take this code because I don't want you using it on your sites. You want to take this code and you want to paste this code as high in the head of the page as possible. Additionally, paste this code immediately after the opening body tag. So this is the code that you drop onto all of your web pages in those locations. If that doesn't make sense to you where to post those, then you need to find whoever built your website for you and give this to them. And they will paste it into these areas. Tell them to paste it into those areas. So now that we have that on all of our pages in our website, Google Tag Manager is going to be able to work with our website, and it's going to be able to put all the code in. Cool. So a little bit of review. Went to AdWords, added conversions, right? We went up to here, went to conversions, and then we added a conversion. We did this one here. We got those unique IDs. Then we came over to Tag Manager, and we added Universal Analytics and Conversion Linker, and then we added AdWords conversion tracking, and we had to put in the unique ID, right? We put in these numbers here, conversion label and conversion ID. We put those into our AdWords conversion tracking, and then we came to admin, and inside admin we got this stuff and installed that on our website. And then there's an app you could use, right? So if I go to Greater Commons right now, you could get this app, and this is the Chrome extension, and the Chrome extension is Google Tag Assistant, right? So I'm going to enable this. I'm turning that on. I'm going to refresh this page, and once you have your tags installed in your website and those are live, you can come up to this Chrome extension, Google Tag Assistant, And you could see, okay, I've got Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, and I've also put on the remarketing tag. So I have those tags on these pages. So it allows you to check that your tags are actually showing up. So the next thing we want to do is we want to go to our workspace changes one. We want to go to our variables. Oh, we want to do our data layer. So the data layer is one more thing that you're going to add to your website. And the data layer is going to be, so you want to look for Tag Manager Data Layer. Okay, so let's just go look for that. And here's the Tag Manager, and we're going to add variables using the data layer. Here it is. And so here's your data layer, and this needs at the head of your page above the container snippet. So even above the code that we just got from the admin area, which was this code here, right? We went to admin, and we got this install Google Tag Manager code, and it said put it up at the top of the page. Even above that, we're going to create this, and then the above snippet is empty object, and then we're going to add this with our variables. And so the variables that I added in were like, you know, revenue and purchase ID. And so then you'll associate for on your, you know, checkout page, the success, you know, like your purchase, here's your confirmation, the confirmation page. You'll put the value of the purchase transaction here, and it'll store it in revenue variable or whatever you call it. And you'll put the transaction ID here, and it'll store it in transaction ID. So you add that data layer in, and it's getting live data from each transaction. Important. And then you come over here, and you create new variables. So under variables, you can see I have user-defined variables new. I've got receipt ID and revenue. So I create new. And when I come in here, I could like click that, and then I could say, hey, this is a data layer variable right here, data layer variable. And I click this little plus thing. I did that kind of fast. Click this little plus thing right there. And I could say, I want the revenue data layer variable, right? And it brings it in here. And this is giving me a second version because I already have it. And if I want to, I could set default value, and I could set this one at like, you know, 10,000, something crazy. So if it's not working, I'm getting all these big numbers, and I know I'm not getting the real numbers. I'm getting the default values. I'm going to give it a name, right? I'll probably just call it revenue, just like I did here, and I'm going to save it. I'm not going to do that right now because I already have it. So you get your two variables here, and you're going to come back to your tags. And when you come back to your tags, you'll come back to this thing, and then you'll choose Edit. And when you edit it, you'll put in those variables. You'll click this plus sign, and you should have that variable available now inside Tag Manager because you grabbed it right from the page. So when you do all of that, Adwords is now going to be able to track your conversions and also the value of it. But that's what I wanted to show you in this video, was just getting the conversion, unique value, the purchase amount, and the purchase ID, getting it into AdWords so as you run your campaigns, you could see, okay, I spent this much money, I made this much money. That's what you need to see. And that's how you use this stuff. Hey, please hit like and subscribe because that helps other people find these videos. And please come check out Greater Commons, and maybe that whole course is there now and you can come take it and learn everything from beginning to finish.